This is the Horsepower Hour.
Yes, and welcome to another Horsepower Hour. This is your host, Andy. Joining me, as always, is the fabulous, the amazing, the wonderful, and the patriotic.
Coy Sinclair.
How you doing, Coy?
I'm doing good. Happy Father's Day to me.
Yeah, to you, not to me.
Not to you.
Yeah, I've got a few animals around here, but it doesn't count.
You fathered some hideous creations.
Yes.
But no spawn.
Well,
you've left you left your seat on the street, so I mean there's no way of really knowing without private detective work, but
this is also true. I'm fully expecting to find out one of these days that there's a swamp rat that got a little bit too much of my seed, and stuff happens.
Yeah.
So how's your week been, man?
It's been hot and miserable, honestly. It's warm here in Oregon right now.
It's like 80.
Yeah, but it's like raining while being 80. Okay. I don't live in mid Florida. Like,
all right,
this kind of weather makes people crazy.
Well, fair enough. If this weather is making you crazy, go ahead and let us know. Thank you for tuning into the podcast, by the way. Thank you for telling a friend. It is what keeps us going. That Facebook group that we have, Coy, the Off-Road Podcast, is catching up real fast.
I know. It's partially my fault.
I know.
Well, I don't want to take too much credit for it. I can't say it's all my fault, but I added 40 people off my friends list to their page.
What is wrong with you?
Then I just saw them accepting, just clicking away. I know I counted over 20. So yeah, guys, go through your friends list, add any car guys,
Yeah.
At this point, we don't want even if it's like your grandma who just accepts anything, just go ahead and add her because we really just need numbers. If just be a bot for us.
Bonus points if she jumps on and goes, I don't like this group. Someone take me off. Admins, please remove me.
I'm posting and then leaving.
That's literally bonus points for me.
Yes. Just be a bot for us, which I feel like that could be like a new hit Justin Bieber song. Be a bot for me.
Bot for me.
Be a Russian bot for me.
Well, they're coming out with a new Boss Baby movie.
Mm-hmm.
We can just do a Bot Baby movie.
Bot Baby.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's been an interesting week. A lot of EV news this week, and I always hate weeks like that because
it's every week, honestly.
It is, but it's like I'm suddenly realizing that I could be an automotive journalist pretty easily because things that aren't set in stone from manufacturers, it's all just assumptions and hyperbole. I was reading about the new Toyota Tundra. Did you see photos have been released now?
Mm.
And there's this whole long article from Car and Driver where they're like, you can expect it to have this, and it probably will have this. And the new motor could be a selection of one of these two, and we're pretty sure it's going to be this one, but it's all just wild speculation.
That's true. I found that I'm better at picking the wild speculation out and kind of putting together what I think it'll be better than most article writers are.
Oh yeah, completely.
Yeah. So, we really should start writing some articles.
Listen, I said it, and I understand I talk about this almost every week, but the Ford Bronco Sport, like when the photos first came out, I was like, that's a Land Rover Discovery. I'm not psychic. I just know cars, and we have that unique ability to be able to look at something and say, bullshit.
Bullshit. Oh, we've been there.
Yeah, man.
That's what happens when you dedicate your life to a piece of technology that's becoming obsolete quickly before my life ends. So I'm going to ride this not cash cow to the bitter end.
I've not really looked into it too much, but have you heard that there's a new battery that they're trying to work on that is an aluminum based instead of lithium based?
Powdered aluminum is the base of many explosives.
Ooh.
So this could get it real exciting real quick.
Well, we've had a lot of fun watching the videos of like Teslas that catch on fire,
Mhm.
and then the fire department just trying to put them out, and they don't go out.
We're like, well, we'll just have somebody watch this for the next 48 hours, I guess.
Right. And then there was that Tesla that got taken to an impound yard, and that caught fire there after it had already been extinguished.
Double kill. You know, if my Tesla got impounded and then it caught on fire in the impound yard and burned multiple other cars while it was there, I'm just like, good boy. Yeah. Makes you wonder if Elon, like that was one of his cars and he had a smartphone out and just hit the self-destruct, you know?
Yeah. Well, hey, if you were in his shoes, wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, you want me to pay how much to get it back? Swipe left, you know?
Yeah. One of these days, do you think we'll get there? Like, is somebody going to be able to kill you using your car?
Oh, just like hack my car and kill me? Oh, I'm sure it's already happened. How could it not have?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a good point.
I mean, if the Russians can hack Facebook and the election and everything else, supposedly, why wouldn't they have hacked any rich dude's Tesla and used it to either kill that guy or kill another target?
Right. Sure.
He's like, I had an autopilot and I was on the phone, and then just goes through through the crowd.
I actually have a quote, the very last thing that that Russian diplomat said. Suka blyat!
What would you say if you were driving an electric car and then it just went full? What was that? What was the Stephen King movie with a car?
Oh, Christine.
Yeah, it went full Christine on your ass and just started mowing through pedestrians and you couldn't get back control.
Not that wheel, Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do. Like, do you jump? She's like, hey, I'm not part of this. I am not an accomplice to this. The car's doing this on its own. Like, and bail?
Can you even get out? Because a lot of times these newer vehicles, you can't unlock the vehicle while it's rolling down the road.
That's true, but I feel like in that panic, I could smash the glass or something.
Okay.
Straight dive out the window.
So you're going to have the foresight to smash the glass and dive out the window while it's doing 50 miles an hour through a crowd of people.
Well, I don't know if it's going to continue to. I'm assuming the more bodies it stacks, the slower it goes, you know? I mean,
Thing's got 800 foot-pounds torque.
I know it's torquey, but once the front tires are off the ground, and there's, meat under the car,
sure,
it's going to start slowing down.
Well, the wheel wells start filling up with the clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you've ever been like running a lawnmower and gotten some baling twine or an old shop rag or something, it'll bring you to a stop quick. Just lock that thing up.
Also, if you end up hitting a rock that's sticking up a little bit higher than you thought it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that like a backpack that could jam a Tesla up real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Or several backpacks.
Stroller.
A mattress? Walker. Oh, now you're talking.
I'm just saying a baby Bajorn.
Yeah. How many scarves do you think it would take to really stop that thing up?
Like a real wool scarf, like Angora?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. If it was a wet scarf, less though, you see? Yeah. Increases of strength.
Right. Because the wheels the motors aren't in the wheels. They're inboard, and then they got the drive shaft. So if those drive shafts are exposed. Yeah. Surely you've seen the photos of like a pickup that runs over a mattress and gets all the springs all twisted up on the drive shaft.
The worst. We used to do this thing where we had zip ties at this one job we had that were, I don't know, 4 foot long. They're like commercial zip ties for putting splice cases to telephone lines, and then they just stay there forever. So they're ultra durable, extremely large zip ties, and you just crawl under somebody's pickup and put a couple around the drive shaft. So then when they drove away, they just started slapping like crazy, and then they had to crawl under and cut them off. It's funny every single time.
What about when it happened to you?
It never happened to me. I had a car, then you'd had to jack it up and get under it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That's Coy being smart for you.
Yeah.
Speaking of new cars, shout out to producer Nick. He just got himself a new car. He got a 2021. I almost said 2001. Jeepers creepers. He got himself a 2021 Miata, or MX-5. I guess they're not called Miatas anymore. RF, so the power retractable fastback, and he got the Club Sport model. So it's got BBS wheels, it's got Bilstein shocks, it's got slightly heavier springs, I believe. a whole host of other things. Got nav in the dashboard and all that stuff. So those don't necessarily. I mean, they're a small car by any standard, sure, but compared to a first generation of Miata, they don't even look all that small, right?
No.
These things are tipping the scale at 2,400 pounds.
Oh, that's all.
That's it.
That's great. Even with the retractable hardtop.
Probably add a couple hundred pounds.
I mean, that it's worth it for that retractable hardtop.
Yeah.
It looks so much better. And even when it's retracted, you kind of got a little bit more protection going on, Love that retractable hardtop.
And we're in Oregon. I mean, getting a rag top here is just, it's hard if you don't have a garage.
Yeah, if you don't own a garage and know that you can garage it. Honestly, if it's a car that you're going to have, sitting in the parking lot at work all day, it's not worth getting a hardtop or a rag top.
Yeah. And I know people are going to ask, well, he had a 2006 Honda Civic and you guys had plans for that and what's going to happen there. So I'm going to tell you what happened, Coy. Nick woke up. This was last Thursday. Woke up. No, not this last Thursday, but a week prior.
Yeah.
Got up at his normal time to go to work. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning, right? He heads on outside, half asleep, starts walking up to his car and notices that his taillight's laying on the ground. And he goes, that's weird. And then he turns on his cell phone light, his camera light, and he realizes that his driver's side rear wheel is turned inward. And also his rear quarter panel is turned inward. And then he realized that the pickup truck in front of him was now several inches away from his bumper instead of the 3 feet from his bumper that it was that morning. And the pickup that's parked in front of him has a huge scrape all down the side of it. Turns out that about 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 drunk ladies had been in a Subaru Forester and had plowed in his car at just the right angle and with the correct amount of force to flip their Forester over. And as it came back down, the front end scraped the shit out of that dude's pickup.
I just want to throw this. There was 2 ladies in a Subaru Forester.
I know exactly where you're going with
I'm
this.
not going anywhere. I just was reiterating. I just want to make sure I heard that properly. How many golden retrievers were in there?
No dogs were harmed in the rollover of that vehicle.
Okay.
But there were 2.
In the version of the story, heard that one of the occupants, when the vehicle came to a rest, began a solid sprint away from the scene.
This is also true. The only reason why the other person didn't solid sprint away from the scene is because her buckle had become stuck around what I can only assume was a much larger body than was meant for the seat, if you know what I mean.
Gotcha. Yeah, he lives in kind of downtown area, and I've done work there at night, night work, and it is rife with drunk drivers. It's kind of nice when you're doing construction because drunk people are happy and they bring you like hamburgers and stuff.
Ooh.
They're like, hey, bro, you want a hamburger? I'm like, I'll never say no to free food.
Well, and I assume that also you get to kind of watch like, I don't want to call it a freak show. I don't think that's very
downtown
PC.
Eugene.
I don't think that's PC.
No. Downtown Eugene is a freak show during the day. They probably say that on the Eugene Facebook page. Like that's not being PC. That's how it is.
Enjoy the freak show, huh?
Yeah, it's just if you've been to Eugene, you know what it's like.
Yeah, true.
It's like Burning Man meets Apocalypse.
Well, so how long do you think it's going to take somebody to wreck one of the new Ford Broncos?
The fact that one hasn't been wrecked already blows my mind.
Well, Coy, I have good news. We're going to see one wrecked here real soon because the Ford Bronco is finally leaving the stable. The company has begun shipping and filling 125,000 pre-orders of the new Ford Bronco. It has been a long time coming, and obviously Ford has not been shipping certain vehicles, because they can't get the electronic components for them. But now the floodgates are open. The Bronco is finally being manufactured, and they are now filling orders. So if you guys pre-ordered a Bronco and you were thinking, I'm just going to sell my pre-order off before, comes time, too late, baby. You're getting a new Bronco.
It's too late now.
Call up your bank because this is happening.
I'm honestly excited to see one of these YouTubers try and destroy it. What's that one diesel
Whistling Diesel.
Whistling Diesel. Yeah. I absolutely hate him. I despise him. But
Why do you hate him so much, Coy?
You know, it's not that his videos are even bad. Just as a person, I find his personality just grating. You know, I find him super douchey.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I'm not saying don't watch his videos. They're entertaining.
Yeah.
I just, as a person, he's distasteful to me. I don't like watching him.
It's easier for me to watch his videos if I'm just sort of like skipping through. Like I find myself clicking about every 4 seconds. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because YouTubers, they do that thing where it's like, what's up, everybody? It's your boy. We're doing the thing, and the thing needs to be done. And dude, man, bro, I'm telling you,
We're
this
doing
thing,
the thing right now.
This thing that we're doing right now,
Are you
it's
ready?
something I can't even believe. It's crazy. And then people behind him are like, oh, it is so crazy. It's crazy, bro. This thing that we're doing, do bro, man, you're not going to believe what we're doing. Seriously, it started at this, and we're still there because we're doing the thing, and we're doing the thing right the way it needs to be done, man, bro, son.
Remember the thing that we started that we weren't able to finish because the thing wasn't being done right and we didn't finish it? You remember that? Well, now we're finishing the thing.
Smash that like button.
Also subscribe if you're into us doing things right.
Hit the notification bell because we're being shadow banned. Actually, that might actually be true with this show. I'm not sure.
Everybody is.
Everything is shadow banned. Yeah, so the new Ford Bronco, Coy, if you had already ordered one, you'd be looking forward to getting one real soon. But you know what you're going to be getting instead, because I know you're looking for a truck, son.
Yeah.
The Ford F-150 Lightning. The full trim pricing has been leaked online. This is not quite as exciting as like Lana Del Rey's nudes being leaked, but it's still something.
Yeah.
You know? The new Ford Lightning, we didn't really know a whole lot about it. Obviously, they said pricing starts at $39,000, which doesn't seem too bad to me, right?
And I heard that they weren't making this in 2-wheel drive to start out.
Oh, 4-wheel drive only.
Yeah, so $39,000 for 4-wheel drive F-150. I mean,
and it is a Super Crew. It's got the 2 suicide doors in the back, so it's a 5-passenger. And this is going to be a sales tactic. Of course, you get a $4,500 rebate from the federal government when you buy an electric vehicle, all electric. So it does take the price down. After that rebate, you could be looking at a $33,000 fully electric F-150. However, it's not exactly fully loaded, if you know what I mean.
They aren't going to make any of these base models, right? Especially not right off the bat.
I'm assuming not. Once you start stepping up, the XLT jumps up just a little bit in price. It's $53,000. You want to go with the XLT Plus premium package? That is $57,000. So just a small jump there, you know. Lariat package, Coy, $68,000.
Whoa.
Lariat Plus premium package.
When is a Plus? Is that a Lightning thing, or I've never heard of these Plus packages before?
I think they're just adding it because it's Pride Month. So the Lariat Plus premium package, a cool $79,500
for an F-150.
For an F-150. The Platinum package, which previously had been one of their most expensive trim levels for the F-150. I remember seeing a Platinum package F-150 for, I think, $68,000. It was crazy loaded. This bad mama jamma, Coy, measly starting price. We're asking, this is the MSRP, $90,000.
That's it?
That's it.
Local taxes and fees apply?
Well, that could be another $12,000, but you don't have to worry about that right now.
Well, I'm actually curious what all's in the Platinum. I mean, $90,000, that's some bells and whistles. That's a humdinger.
Well, it will come with the extended range battery, of course, as you would expect. And it's going to have some bits and wheels and whiz bangs and doodads, like 22-inch wheels that have a special paint that you can't get anywhere else. It's going to have full leather interior, obviously. It's going to have heated and cooled seats. So something to cool off your cojones on these 80-degree days. You know what I mean?
Huevos on ice. Gotcha. Is it going to have like a, intelligent auto drive type thing? I feel like for that kind of price and it being all electric, we got to go Tesla-esque.
I'm sure it does. It's going to have to, but I'm not real sure how exactly they're going to do it on these trucks, but it has to have some kind of an intelligent drive, right?
I would think it has some kind of autopilot. I don't like calling it autopilot in cars, but that's what we're all doing.
Sure.
Because, it's not really a pilot, but fine.
There are some manufacturers like Hyundai calls theirs the active lane assist. So it'll keep you between the lines for the most part, not 100%, but for the most part, it'll keep you between the lines. So if you couple that with the cruise control, then kind of sort of there's a little bit of an autopilot thing going on.
Honestly, my wife's RAV4 coupled with the speed sensing cruise control and the lane assist, I'm quite certain I could take a nap. I sat there just in no hands on the wheel and just watched it for a couple miles on end, and it was flawless. Like,
wow.
It's I find that smart cruise control so fucking annoying though. I wish you could turn it off.
Why? Because you want to be blasting through traffic and get as close as you want, or?
So I use cruise control as a modality to keep me from doing 100 miles an hour everywhere. It's how I got my driving record clean. So I pick the speed that I think won't get me a ticket there, and I set it there. And then I buzz through traffic at that speed. As I come up to a car, I'm watching, I'm gaining at this speed. And when I get close, I'll signal and I'll get over. And then, except for that doesn't work when you get up to them and it matches their speed.
Right.
Like, it totally throws off my entire driving style.
Well, because you want to drive like an a-hole.
No, I want to drive exactly one speed and then work through traffic that way, which I have done for years and can mostly just kind of watch ahead and just keep doing that speed and weave through. But with this, speed sensing cruise control,
just can't do it, huh?
It drives me nuts.
Well, are you thinking about maybe going back then to just
speeding like crazy?
Yeah, your right foot, man.
So what I do now is it's my wife's car, so I just let her scream at me as I speed.
Okay.
It seems to work okay.
Well, sure. It's self-regulating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you know what it is? It's sort of like replacing a fuse with a bullet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, back when you used to just shove a 22 round into a bus fuse, so it got too hot, I just fired.
Exactly. It's an audio-visual indication.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
And they're actually cheaper than fuses. Well, not now, but were.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was going to say, meh. Well, they could be cheaper than fuses. I mean, what's a 22 bullet cost nowadays? $5?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't buy them anymore.
I
don't set my sights that low.
Oh, wow. Wow. High roller over here.
Well, no, it's just, I would like 9 mil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't waste any time trying to find 22. I'd like 22 as well, but I need the 9 mil more. So I don't even try.
Yeah.
Like I have to prioritize at a certain point,
Well, Coy was telling me the other day that he was really going to go and flex on those pores. He's going to shoot through a whole box of 9 mil at a piece of plywood.
Yeah.
I was like, dang.
Yeah.
High rolling.
Yeah. We bought 5 sheets of plywood for work the other day just to cover holes on the ground. And it was $480.
What?
Yeah. What was it? 5/8, I think it was. Just over 1/2 inch plywood was $83 each or something like that. Crazy expensive.
I went and bought a single 2x4, just basic 2x4, 8 foot, and it was $11.
That's a stud grade though, and that's an 8-footer.
Mhm.
Yeah. So when I was working on my shop, putting the insulation in and stuff, I was buying 2x4s, stud grade 2x4s, I think for like $288 each.
Yeah. I was buying just regular non-kiln dried or anything for like $1.78.
Yeah,
this is just last summer.
Yeah, it's crazy how expensive lumber is right now. Like, it's literally crazy.
Well, it's going to have to come down. We don't have any other choice but for it to come down. But as we just saw with the cost of the F-150s, everything could go up.
Yeah, apparently there's somebody that can afford to buy plywood right now. So it's just not me.
I want to meet them because I'd like a trip on their yacht.
Yeah. I'd like to take the chopper out to their yacht.
Yeah. They're going to have to supply the chopper and the yacht, please and thank you. But Coy, I do have some good news from the Overland world. Are you ready to cut into this?
I'm ready.
Overland is fucked! This is good news for flat window Jeeps, huh?
Yeah. So Jeep Wrangler and Gladiator are supposedly, as the word on the street is, getting a Gorilla Glass windshield. Yeah, that's the same stuff on your phone. Well, I mean, not you ports with the Androids, but
I was going to say mine's cracked to fuck.
with the iPhone people.
Mm-hmm.
The peasants with the Androids wouldn't know about it, but Gorilla Glass is an extremely robust, supposedly in helicopters. That's what the salesmen always say.
I've done so well with this phone too, by the way. Sorry to sidetrack, but I've never cracked this phone. And then I had it sitting on the new vanity because we just redid our bathroom. And my wife came in, was grabbing something, knocked it off onto the tile, and it shattered. And I was like, really? I've had this phone for like 4 years, not a scratch on it.
I drop my phone constantly. Now, I don't know if it's the Gorilla Glass or if it's the case I have or a combination thereof. Why not both, I guess?
Why not both?
So, yeah.
So
that should be interesting.
If you want your windshields to last the way your iPhones do, well, the screens anyway.
Yeah. No, you don't want your windshield to be obsolete every year and a half. You're just driving down the road and it starts going black. Oh no, my windshield shut off. Crap. It needs an update that's going to take 4 days.
So why is it good or important for Jeeps to be using this Gorilla Glass?
I don't know. Honestly, it sounds cool. I just see it right now. Honestly, I bet a Jeep windshield replacement is like $120. You know what I mean? Like windshield replacements, they'll come out and do it for cheap. So I don't know what a 2 foot by 5 foot piece of Gorilla Glass costs, but I bet it's $1,000. That's gotta be ultra expensive, right?
Well, are you sure it's not because these flat windshields get cracked constantly because they have no curve?
They have a little curve, and they do. A flat windshield will crack more, and it's not necessarily that it's flat, it's so vertical. So when things hit it, they don't hit it at an angle. They're hitting it straight on. You know what I mean?
It's shaped like a brick.
Yeah. My FG Cruiser kind of has the same thing going on. And a lot of people complain about those. I made it 120,000 something odd miles before I got my first chip. So, it kind of depends on road conditions you're on. And if you're on a lot of gravel and following dump trucks too close, then that's one thing. But yeah, I wish them well. I just hope that when a limb hits it or something and it explodes, it doesn't cost you $1,800 to replace your windshield.
Well, it doesn't look like it will. There are a few aftermarket companies that are making high performance glass replacements out of Gorilla Glass for the Jeep already. And they usually come in about $700.
Oh, is that all?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably still about 7 times more than traditional driving glass would cost. But maybe the Gorilla Glass will just never break or chip or wear.
I was going to say, if it lasts 7 times as long, still a deal?
Like I said, I haven't replaced the windshield on my truck yet,
True.
I got some chips sealed, but that's it. I think it's cool. It's windshield technology hasn't evolved all that much since cars were invented. We got safety glass and then we moved on. And then, last 2 or 3 decades, we've gotten some films, different, UV stuff on them, but it's basically the same crap that we've had to infinity and beyond. So hopefully this Gorilla Glass, if it's 10 times better and you never get a chip and never have to replace a windshield, I hope it sweeps through all cars. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you.
Why not reinvent the ketchup pack?
Sure.
Yeah.
I always hated ketchup packets.
Yeah, they're horrible.
By the way, the people that rip the top off and then dip their fries into the ketchup packet,
They're monsters.
Yeah, they're psychopaths.
fucking monsters.
They're the same people that keep snakes for pets, and it just will not abide.
They're the kind of people that unravel the condom and then try and put it on. You know what I mean? Like they're just fucking weirdos.
So accurate.
They just ruin every moment.
It's so accurate. Wow. Well, Coy, I want to talk about something that will get you revved up, my man.
I'm ready.
The new Canoo electric vehicles, they're actually going to happen. You believe that?
I'm glad. This was one I was kind of excited about, these Canoos. Not excited about the name, to be honest. But
I can't wait for somebody to correct me and be like, it's actually Canoo.
Canoo. Canoo?
It's actually Canoo.
I hope so. They use what they call the skateboard, platform with modular bodies. You can put different bodies on them. They are very, what would you say, like old Volkswagen van truck-esque?
Mm-hmm. Something between a Vanagon truck and a cabover.
Yeah, I dig the daylights out of these. I hope they're affordable. Like if this Canoo works out and they build like these, I'm in. I'm just straight up in.
We're looking at some photos here, and the pickup version, they kind of are, I don't know, marketing it as like an overland vehicle, I guess, and showing a fold out table that's on the side. Pretty cool, pretty nifty stuff. And I like the fact that skateboard chassis, it allows them to do so many different things with it.
Yeah.
So many different things.
With that one chassis, they can have a truck, a van, they can build multiple, and even the traditional petroleum powered vehicles we know today use kind of a universal frame system. But yeah, there you go. Canoo skate kart, go-kart. Yeah, that's awesome.
So what we're looking at here is just a floor pan, the base of the Canoo, and it's showing off essentially what this chassis looks like and why it's so interchangeable. There's a roll cage that's mounted to it. There's a race seat. Then there's a little bit of a dashboard and steering wheel going down to the steering column, but that's literally it. And I like that they did this simply because it shows people what exactly they're talking about and how flexible and versatile the bodies can be, because there's really nothing sticking up that needs to be in the body of the vehicle.
Absolutely. And why can't we have technology where I have a van and I pull in the garage and there's a lift in there and I hit a switch and it swaps me out, to a pickup. Like, why couldn't I have a couple bodies and some kind of automated lift thing that just swaps the bodies around?
Oh, I have the answer. Because you're not rich.
I'm just saying that could be affordable to normal people. Like, it's not that crazy to think of.
Yeah, maybe one of these days. I love the look of this. And again, you can find everything we're talking about in the description of the podcast or in the description of the video. Go and check this out because they have some very cool stuff going on. I found it interesting, though. They're talking about how a company in the Netherlands is going to start manufacturing the Canoo, but then they plan on making them here. They're starting plans on a facility in Oklahoma, somewhere in the $1 billion range. Of course, it's going to be built in stages, and subsidies for new manufacturing and stuff in the United States. I mean, obviously they're going to not pay $1 billion, but it's just interesting to me that this thing has gone from concept to production vehicle in what feels like a very short period of time.
I've heard this is being pushed and ran by like heads of I think one of the heads CEO of Mercedes is in on this.
Really?
Like, a bunch of higher ups and other companies jumped onto this startup and are pushing it forward. Not necessarily with their money, but they've clearly been running other powerful companies. So
sure. And you need people like that backing you if you're going to do something like this fast.
You're going to come from scratch to something. So I mean, the electric vehicle world is a game changer. It's new to everyone. So I hope there's some new vehicles that pop in there. And you know what? Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla or somebody, even Chevy buys Canoo, and then just kind of leaves the brand and, siphons technology and shares the frame and whatnot. I wouldn't be surprised at all. And it honestly might be what they're kind of hoping happens. But I like these vehicles, and I want to see this van truck thing, whatever you want to call it, van again, come to market. Like, I really like it.
How excited would you be if we started a company that was successful enough to where some other larger company, like we started making our own glue with an unspecified secret ingredient?
Yeah. And Elmer's was like, bro, your glue's really fucking good. We'd love to buy it from you. And I'd just be like, yeah, I would actually love you to buy this thing from me because I'm working myself to death.
And then 3M comes in, goes, we'll double that offer.
Oh,
Boom,
God.
son, done.
Just do it already.
I just made some more glue.
More glue.
Mm-hmm.
My pants are covered in glue. Thank you very much.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that do that, though. They have a good idea. They start a company, and the whole idea is to start the company and move it on to another larger company and make money off of that. And that's actually a viable business. A lot of people do it. Mostly you see it with like app developers and things.
Yeah.
So if an app catches on enough, some other company will buy it because they want that continued revenue. But hey, you just made yourself a pile of money.
Yeah. No, I'm into piles of money. That's one of my favorite things, actually.
I don't think this one is going to get you a whole pile of money. It's probably going to cost you a whole pile of money as you have to fix all of your broken bones. You ready for today's FabSui?
I am so ready.
This thing, first of all, it's already sold. So presumably it has already killed someone. But
I'm sorry, we got some comments here.
Oh, Justin from Tales from the Podcast joined in. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate that. Normally we go out live on Facebook, but for some reason today Facebook said, nope, you're not going to be able to do that. So we're just on YouTube and Twitch today. If you are listening to the audio podcast, you want to come over and check out that video, check us out. Just look up the Horsepower Hour on YouTube. You'll be able to see us there. So this Bad Mama Jamma Coy is a mini bike, but it's not one of the
Right, is our intro music not in here?
For FabSui?
Oh, yeah, no, obviously it's not. I don't know why I was thinking that.
Yeah, we have not had a chance to put
Overland.
that together yet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Never mind. Continue on.
So this mini bike, this is not one of the Coleman mini bikes. This is not one of the big wheel mini bikes. This is like old school OG 6-inch, 8-inch tire. Take a look at that sprocket. It's nearly the same size as the tire Coy.
It is bigger than it's probably an inch bigger than the rim and maybe 2 inches less diameter than a tire.
So this is a very, very small frame mini bike, right?
Yeah, this is like those little tube frame guys, little tiny guy.
But this thing has got a Honda GX 240, which is an 8 horsepower 4-stroke motor on it. And then bolted to that is what appears to be a not the tiniest in the world turbocharger.
Yeah. Yes. Let's go through the description. This guy kind of explains what all's going on. It's not poorly done. It looks good.
It actually does look really good. I'm impressed with this thing. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's kind of lengthy. One of a kind, custom built turbocharged mini bike with a 242cc Honda GX 240 pull start. All parts are custom made, stainless steel header, stainless steel teardrop exhaust, stainless steel intercooler pipe. It's got its own oiling system using a pulse pump and an oil reservoir with thick oil lines. I don't know why I need to say thick.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's trying to say. I think he wanted to say like heavy duty.
I like my women like I like my oil lines. Thick.
That's thick.
Starts up on the first pull. Still tuning it, but it runs very well. On full throttle, it can push 7 pounds of boost. Yeah. I'm happy to keep it, but I'm looking for a possible new project. Hit me up with Trader Cash or both as well. $1,500.
That's not a crazy price when you look at mini bikes.
No, it's not.
As is.
Yeah.
I don't know what this tiny turbo came off of or how much one costs, but turbo's not exactly free.
$150. I looked them up on Amazon.
You looked it up.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's just a Chinese windmill.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's meant for like a 2-cylinder diesel in a commercial generator.
That makes sense. 7 pounds of boost in that motor. How much horsepower do you think something like this putting down? 20?
So it's already an 8 horse, and you've got.
Or you think, I don't know.
I think you could safely double it. My guess would be 14, 15, 16 horsepower.
It's hard for me to guess on these little motors. You know what I mean? Because like if you go to a car, you're never turbocharging it and doubling the horsepower without crazy internal modifications. You know
Unless it's a Miata.
Those kind of have crazy internal mods from the factory, though, to be fair. Like you already got oil squirters and forged internal. So doubling, I feel like, could be safe, but I don't know if that really counts in, these kind of engines. Either way, this thing's got to have crazy boost surge, right?
It has to.
Like you're gonna get on it, and it's gonna have 8 horsepower with my 300-pound butt sitting on it, and it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna feel that surge, and you're gonna let off. It's gonna be fun.
It is draw through carb setup. I don't know what this carburetor is off of, but it looks pretty sizable, all things considered.
I'm a little concerned about the transmission in this. It's got to be like a CVT type transmission.
It is. He's got a torque converter on it.
And we've effectively doubled whatever it's supposed to handle, I'm sure.
What I'm more worried about is the fact that a CVT, or excuse me, the torque converter works like a CVT, like it would in a snowmobile, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as long as this thing is geared properly, you're going to hit pretty much maximum RPM, especially if this has a governor in it still, which I don't see why it would, but just go along with me for the mental exercise. So you pretty much hit your high RPM, right? And then that torque converter starts working and your engine just sits at that high RPM. So you're now making full boost because you're under load. You and I are heavy guys. Yes. We're on the mini bike. It's under full load. So it almost immediately starts making, I shouldn't say immediately because this is not a huge motor spinning that turbo, but it does begin to make boost. And then it sits right in that optimal boost range at high RPM as the torque converter continues to just climb faster and faster, higher and higher. So even if the top speed on this is 45 miles an hour, you're going to get there real fucking quick.
Yeah, I would happily die on this. I would ride this. These are kind of off-road, but this is literally like wheelbarrow tires. This is like the tires you put on a generator.
Yeah.
To push it around. These are like the tires on the back of a hand truck. Maybe smaller than some of those.
So I want to just do a quick fun little, this isn't role play, but I just want you to postulate with me about how you would die on this. I'm going to go ahead and go first. I think I would take this to the local dirt bike track just to get like a funny TikTok video.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't realize how fast I'm going. I would clear the triples. And then as I landed, the front of the mini bike, the front would land and the front tire would squish almost completely flat and then rebound the handlebars right back up into my face. It would crush my nose and send my nasal bones through my brain.
Well, I can tell you exactly how I'd die in it. This is how I'd die.
Yeah, please.
I would take this out onto the road to see how fast it could go. Obviously. I would not really realize that on this bike at 45 miles an hour or 50 or 60 or whatever it's doing, the amount of lean I have to get on it, the pegs are deep into the asphalt.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't lean enough to make it around this corner. So I obviously end up in oncoming. And I'm doing 50 miles an hour on said tiny piece of metal. And I'm guessing I probably get into the front of a Hyundai.
Yeah.
That's how I see myself going on this.
And what Celine Dion song is going to be playing as you're flying through the air?
Unknown, honestly. But I know what I'll be thinking in my head.
What's that? Hey, Darwin's joining the chat. Thank you, Darwin Bonk. Appreciate you, my friend. Yeah, so obviously this thing, it's going to kill somebody. It's not really that the
Flying away.
It's not that this mini bike is so just horribly put together that it's going to kill somebody.
It's got disc brakes and things. It's just it's honestly, well built.
I think it looks fantastic. It's really clean and really well put together. But I have a feeling the reason why it's very clean and well put together is because somebody put this together and they fired it up and they're like, it works. Fuck. Shit. I need to get rid of this now.
Yeah, no, I mean, this was never made for speed. This was made for 1.5 miles an hour with your 3-year-old on it, No, I would definitely die on this probably quite quickly. I want to know if this thing will pull a wheelie under boost.
Oh, like a rolling power wheelie?
Yeah, like if I hit boost, and I'm kind of leaned back, if it'll just start hit boost and the front tire will come off the ground at all.
Oh, I have no doubt.
No doubt.
The fact that it doesn't have a wheelie bar on the back tells me that he has not ridden this.
I don't even think this is a bad price, to be honest.
You don't think so? $1,500?
I mean, I think he'll sell it for $1,500. I mean,
this is not Smoking Dealer, Smoking Dude.
I know,
this is just whether or not it's going to kill you.
It's going to kill me, but this is also like, I'm not going to run by this or anything. Like, it's not one of those, but like, I'm kind of surprised he's not asking more. Usually stuff like this you see for like $3,000.
So I do have to have one more question, because we need to make this a thing. We need to be able to rate these FabSui's, Coy. I was thinking about that this week.
Yeah.
And I think we should use the body system. It's a lot like the buddy system.
Mm-hmm.
But how many bodies would you rate this? I'm going to have to, I mean, it's super dangerous, but I am going to have to rate it a 1 body, because I think I'm the only one that's going to die.
See, here's the deal. My size, my mass and the height that is, I'm coming right up over in the windshield and into the car. And like,
it's like
one of our comments here says, I'm going more in the windshield and out the rear glass.
Right. They're going to think they hit an elk.
That's what I'm saying. And they could wreck, and then they go into oncoming. But it's not a for sure kill. Maybe they're just brutally injured by my body. So I'm going to do like a 2, 1.5, 2, 1.5 bodies. Like, I may not kill somebody, but I'm going to horribly injure somebody when my kneecap hits them in the face as I come through the windshield.
It's a severe maiming.
Yeah. So I'm going to go 1.5 bodies.
1.5 bodies. I'm going 1 body. Again, this scale is not how dangerous something is, because this is a 10 out of 10. Well, it's an 8.5.
There will be a body 100%.
Yes.
100% there'll be a body.
But
now we're asking how many.
Yeah. What we're rating is how many bodies it will cause. And yeah, I'm going 1, you're going 1.5. Yeah. I think that's fair. Darwin, we're going to move on, but if you're still listening, give us your body count in the comments here. Yeah, this is a very cool mini bike. And I mean, I think I would try to ride it at least once.
I'd try and ride it a lot.
You'd try to ride it until you couldn't.
Yeah, I would try. I would ride it till it made me not ride it.
Well, fortunately, we do not have to worry about that. Well,
we just lose our dealer Doob.
We did, yeah.
Darwin says, worth the rate of how long after you will get on it till you die. Oh, how many seconds before you die? That's a good way to rate it. That's a tough one for me to call, though. A lot of these, as we look through them, I could write it for a couple months. Like that lifted golf cart that we did with the 7 foot of lift or whatever. I could make it quite a while before me and 4 people on it laid it over and all died. So you never know. Like that's an interesting rating. This bike, though, I'm giving it. I'm going to go easy the first 6 hours, and then I'm going to get it out on the street, and then I'm going to die. So I'd give it 7.5 hours or something like that.
And the reason why that golf cart is easily a 4 bodies is because you're going to take it super easy. You're going to be sober and having fun with just the novelty of it, not driving it very often. But when your friends come over, you're going to be very, cautious with it. But then there's going to be that one night when you're drunk and you're like, everybody pile into the lifted golf cart.
You take it to the country music festival and you're driving to the beer tents and you got 4 guys on it and 1 hanging off the back, and your drunk head can't do the math of all the extra weight on here, and you lay it over on a child's tent, and it kills all you and 2 people in the tent.
You know what? That's a good point.
It could easily be more than 4.
That's a really good point. That might be a 7 or 8 body.
Honestly, if we're at like a festival, I could run this into another cop car that's, trying to get somewhere in the festival at that height. That definitely kills all 4 of us and a cop.
Yeah, for sure.
I could hit a horse.
Yeah, I think we're going to just have to go with whatever your first scenario is.
I know, but I'm just saying we can easily get over, like, even though that only holds 2 to 4 people, we can get over 4 with something like that pretty easily. It's tough on the mini bike to get over 1.
You remember the trike with the
Yeah.
aircraft grade
Mhm.
aluminum.
Yeah, with all the blades, basically.
Yeah.
The flying blades.
That might easily be a 20 body.
I mean, you get, say I have a heart attack, I'm not a thin guy.
Mhm.
I stroke out. I take it through a parade. Nobody really knows what's happening at first because it looks like a float. It looks like it should be in a parade.
Sure, you think balloons are going up in the air, and then you realize it's heads.
You think I'm passing the float in front of me when really I'm just leaned over the handlebars, and then I just roll it up onto the sidewalk, and everybody's just literally sitting in their little folding Walmart chairs right at Ultraman wing level, and just I start tossing heads like a pumpkin chunkin'. God, 20 might be the low number,
All right. We need to move on because we do have one more to go, and we're starting to hit up against it. Coy, you ready to do this?
I'm ready.
Smokin' deal or smoking a doobie.
And listen, last week I heard a lot of you saying that's not a deal or a Doob because it has to be at least close to something we would want to buy. I'm listening. I hear you.
I'm not a Volkswagen guy, Andy. I don't, I'm starting to question my sexuality. not my actual sexuality, but like where my taste was in cars.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, fuck, maybe I am gay. Like maybe I do like Volkswagens,
All right.
You've been there when you see that scene in a rock movie or something, and you're like, fuck, he's good looking.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm a dude. Wait, what?
Yep.
Yeah, it's
you
one
see
of those.
Jason Statham's bulge, yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, Jesus Christ, that was a hell of a man. I'm kind of doing that with this Karmann Ghia.
So this is a 1970 Volkswagen Karmann Ghia with a Subaru H6 swapped into the back of it. Five-speed manual transmission, of course.
And it looks like it's a really clean, redone, painted car, and then it has these metal riveted on wide body fenders that somehow them being bare patinaed metal makes it even better.
It's got leather straps holding the hood down, and obviously the hood is only going to reveal the fuel cell and the radiator, but it does have the yellow fog lights in the front and then the round headlights. It has a very like BMW Alpina looking thing going on, which I love. Look at that side profile, Coy.
Those flares are great.
4-wheel disc brakes, as you can imagine. These look to me like 16 or 17 inch wheels. I mean, the Karmann Ghia is a very small car, but wow, those are big wheels on there, right?
Yeah. And they look staggered. They look considerably bigger in the rear than the front, which is a good look.
And meaty. Even in the front, the tires are wide. So this thing is obviously on some meats, which in such a low weight vehicle, you know what that means.
This thing probably does handle very well.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, look at those flares. That's probably 3-inch flare. Like it's a chunk of flare.
Mm-hmm. Moving around to the back, we've got a custom hood scoop in the back. How are you feeling about the back compared to the front?
I'm still into it. I mean, Karmann Ghias, they look what they look like. It's got the rear trunk lid, engine lid, whatever you want to call it, drilled like Honda Civic bumper style. Not as much into that, but so. I love that reverse scoop thing on the rear. Big meats. And I mean, again, look at those flares. That's a good 3 inches. Like that's a chunk.
Huge meaty tires.
I mean, I hate to say call those flares. Like those, I mean, it almost looks like he got somebody with an English will to just make these. Like these are custom looking. And I would hesitate to paint them. Like they got a nice patina going on, and then the paint on this car is good, but somehow that silver with a little rust on it looks really good. Yeah. I'm sure it would look really good painted to match as well, but
it's this weird combination of, I don't know, old school like P-51 Mustang fighter plane.
And that's exactly, I got like this. I thought the same thing. I had like a World War II plane vibe going on. So I'm glad that you kind of had that.
Well, it would make sense because the Volkswagens were introduced by Nazis.
They were probably actually shot by some big 51s at some point.
Hey, should we go through a little bit of this description here?
Yeah.
The seller's description says this is one of the hardest decisions for me, putting up for sale one of my favorite toys. The title is a 1970 Karmann Ghia. The body and the chassis is all that you're going to recognize as Volkswagen. Everything else is custom made, one of one. Powered by a Subaru JDM 6-cylinder. It's JDM. Does that make a difference? I mean, aren't they pretty much the same as the ones that come in the Outback?
They may be higher compression. Not sure though.
Well, either way, it's a 3-liter flat six.
Yeah.
It's made to do a 5-speed manual transmission. Custom suspension, Wilwood disc brakes, custom-made aluminum radiator, custom-made aluminum fuel tank, custom-made dash with automated gauges. It has an AC system in it, which I'm amazed by. American Racing rims, wrapped in BFG tires. Sorry, I wish it said what size the tires were. Maybe we'll get a zoomed in view here. The actual cost to build this car was more than $40,000, and it took a lot of engineering to make it perform the way it is. Up for sale at $28,000.
I mean, honestly, it looks almost like an art piece. I mean, this is museum looking car. It is.
It's an art piece, but see, this doesn't even look like a track car to me. It looks like an autocross car.
It doesn't even it doesn't look like a car that you take and race. This looks like something that's in the living room of some rich guy's house.
Really?
Honestly, the way it's painted with the patina fenders, and it's like it has an art piece look. Like this looks like it's on display somewhere.
Coy wasn't lying about that boner. He's got a full.
This thing is crazy cool.
Yeah, he's full mast for this.
I'm
thing.
full into this. This is a cool car. I could never buy it because I need cars that I'm not afraid to destroy.
Hey, speaking of it being destroyed, though, so you know you're never going to get your money back out of this because it's no longer a collector vehicle. Not that it ever really was a collector vehicle. So I did a little bit of looking around. Carmen Gia's, and we're talking United States wide. A nice example, maybe one that's ready to restore, is $4,500 to $5,000. A restored example that is ready to roll and relive all of your 70s fantasies, about $12,000, $15,000. So at $28,000, you know, you're double that price. But it's not very difficult to see why this would be twice the car. It doesn't have 40 horsepower anymore. It's got 240 horsepower.
And it's probably fairly reliable compared to the old air-cooled, you know. On the other hand, you're not going to be able to go pick your wife up from the airport on this. There's a fuel cell and radiator in the front instead of the trunk, whatever.
Frunk. A grown man just said frunk.
Well, the MR2 world, they do call those frunks, so.
Obviously no back seats, but it does have a little bit of space back there.
I guess there's some space.
It has speakers, which I'm surprised by. It's got like a carpeted deck in the back with speakers.
The speakers bumped me as well. You know, $28,000, that's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of money. Considering the work he has into it, it's probably not an unfair ask, but I don't see him getting that. Like, I don't see this as amazing as I see this car and the straight art piece it is. Is this on Bring a Trailer?
No, it's in Obscure Cars.
This was on Bring a Trailer. I would have hope for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
On a Facebook page, I'm not feeling it. Bring a Trailer for some reason.
It fetches crazy.
I don't know if like just rich guys love Bring a Trailer or if there's some kind of voodoo magic that just makes people bid maximum. I don't know what's up with Bring a Trailer. I honestly, Andy, I can't call this a deal. As in love with this as I am, $28,000. And even though I get it, you know, you put a lot of money in this. I don't think I don't even think he's at the right ask. I feel like 21 would be about the right ask on this. And then you'd see 18, 19.
I agree with you, actually. We're going to go ahead and just show our hand right now. So for me, whenever it comes to project cars, if I'm putting money into something, as long as it's not stupid money, I always think to myself, I'm going to get about half of this back out of it. That's just the way it is. You know what I mean? Markup on stuff is about 100% universally through the retail world. If you're ever wondering, oh, it's a $5 cast frog that'll sit on my porch, I wonder how much it costs to make. Well, it costs a lot less to make, but you know, Target's getting them for $250 if they're selling for $5. You know, that's just kind of a universal number. And so when it comes to a car like this, I have over 40,000 invested. Well, that means you're probably looking at somewhere around the 20,000 mark. And because Carmen Gias are not like super collectible, I mean, bugs are collectible now. A lot of people like the bugs. The Volkswagen vans are really collectible, especially
Those been collectible for a while though.
And especially the ones that have the campers in them.
Campers, the what was it, the 7-window safari vans with the front windshield, those are go for crazy money.
And of course the synchro vans, the 4-wheel drive ones, those are ridiculous. You'll fetch 40,000 for one of those easy. It's crazy. But a wide body, full custom, engine swapped Karmann Ghia. Here's where I'm at. So you said this doesn't even really look like a race car to you. If this were a racer and it had a logbook of races with it,
I actually sadly see him getting more money for it.
I agree.
If it was full caged and, you know, I'm not familiar with the club, but it went in some kind of historic race, some kind of open historic race that even then I don't say I have a Subaru in a historic race car, but if it was in some kind of class and some kind of historic thing or something, I can kind of see the high ask and some other rich guy would get it. But this is just somebody who's probably into Volkswagens that's going to buy this and they like the way it looks. It is ultra cool, but he's not going to be able to get this much. Just not.
I agree.
Like I feel like 18, 19's what it could go for. You know, if he sold it in the right marketplace, like he got it on Bring a Trailer or he got it in some kind of auction, at the right auction, I see him getting a lot of money for this, you know, but then by the time he pays auction fee and all that, who knows? So, and my personal buy at this, I don't know. It's low. Like while I love this, I got no room for Karmann Ghia, you know, art piece in my fleet.
I guess it's your price, so I can't really put stipulations on that. I would ask you to not give yourself like my current situation. I always try to keep an open mind of, do I have someplace to park this?
See, I mean, I even have a place to park this, but like, I don't collect these. And I am in love with this. It is beautiful. And if one of my friends got it, I'd be like, guys, check this picture out. My buddy bought this. It's fucking amazing. But I don't even see myself driving this. Like I honestly see this as a deco. Like this would look good. The right picture of this would look good framed on a wall. Like I'd be like, that's a cool picture. You know, that's the way I see this. Like I'm super into it, but for me to buy it, my buy it price where I'm like, babe, like we're going down to the bank and we're getting the money for this is like 11, dude. Like it's low. It might be lower than 11.
It might be lower than 11. Because if you're starting out with like a wrecked, no, I shouldn't say wrecked, but if you're starting out with a non-runner Karmann Ghia that doesn't have any suspension or anything underneath of it, it's going to be $1,000.
Yeah.
Right. And then if you get yourself a Subaru Outback manual transmission and has a motor that's in pretty good condition, that's $2,500. And now there is some missing context here because he goes into the engineering to make all the suspension work and everything. And I have no doubt that there's a lot of engineering.
Just the cooling is going to be something going on, you know?
Sure.
I mean, there's a lot going on to make this work.
But you and I could figure out the fuel and the cooling. That's not going to be the big deal. The big deal is going to be the suspension for me. And we don't really go into the details of the suspension. There's no photos of the custom suspension or anything like that. So I don't know what he has on it. I do know that, you know, Volkswagen bugs, there are road race components you can get for those. So, I mean, theoretically, you could have some options here that are fairly bolt in to replicate this vehicle on a redneck budget. I think you could do it for 13, 14,000.
Like just have it running and not cool looking that you could go do a hill climb with on the weekend.
Yeah, maybe it wouldn't be
not cool wheels, but you have some Steelies with some fat meats on it.
Yeah, and I don't know if it would be these, you know, fender flares, but it'd be something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe we just chop the body up. I don't know.
Yeah, you just get some box flares instead of these sweet handmade ones.
Down boy.
I like box flares. I don't really knock flares, to be honest. Wide body the world for me. But my price on this is low. Those leather straps, fucking cool, bro.
Oh yeah.
Fucking cool.
Oh yeah.
I mean, who thinks of that even? Yeah, those leather straps holding the hood down, very like, Indiana Jones-ish something going on. Like this is a cool car, and I like it. And I can see him getting, like I said, high teens, but I don't see this number starting with a 2.
Yeah, I agree. I'm in the same vein. I think I'd go about 13,000 on it personally, because it's super cool. There's a lot of work put into it. We assume, I mean, if I showed up and it was literally just like the stock Volkswagen suspension with, I don't know, upgraded springs, I'd be pretty pissed.
Yeah, I got a Volkswagen bus steering rack in it. What?
But if we show up and it is full custom suspension, like he talks about,
One of one, yeah.
yeah, then I'm in.
I have no, just judging by the flares, like those are handmade. They gotta be. So I'm assuming there is a lot more handmade things on here. Like I'm guessing this dude was an engineer with somebody that owned a crazy shop or something. And I'm sure he has an insane amount of money into it. And it pains me to call this a Doob because this car is so cool and it's so unique. But it's just 28,000
at that price. Yeah,
I can't honestly say that it'll go for that much. I don't feel that. I hope he does. This car is so nice. I hope he does get 28,000 for it.
Yeah, I hope he can prove us wrong. As for Coy and I, we're both rating this a Doob. It's not a big fat Doob, but it is.
It's a sad Doob.
It's a sad Doob.
I sadly have to Doob this, even though I love it.
Yeah, I'm with it. But hey, if you know something about this car that we don't, if you think that it's a deal, if you think that we're insane and it's worth $3,000, $1,300, let us know in the comments. We always do read those, and we always do appreciate that feedback. So thank you for doing it.
Smokin' deal or smoking a doobie.
Well, Coy, this has been a great episode. We're almost on time, a little bit over, but we're real close to that hour mark.
We're reeling it back in, yeah.
I was telling somebody the other day, they were asking me about the podcast, and I was like, yeah, we call it the horsepower hour, but we regularly run them hour 30.
Yeah.
And they didn't get it. I thought it was funny, but we do try to keep this thing in line because we do value you guys' time. And so I think it probably is time to go ahead and roll this thing up. What do you got for us?
We have no new reviews this week, man. Nada.
Bullshit.
Zilch. Zero. So guys, you were doing pretty good there. You were giving us a new review every week. We had some really good reviews as well. Just like, articulate and funny. Something that we struggle with on this show personally. So guys, once again, I am reaching out to you, the listeners. If you haven't thrown in a review, throw one in.
Coy is once again asking for your financial support.
For your reviewing support. Yeah, guys, do us a favor. The show's free. If you enjoy it and you listen to it, if we're in your earbud right now and you're doing something, you're at work, you're driving, and you're like, man, these guys are okay. That's fine. Throw us a review on iTunes, on whatever you're listening to it on.
Yeah.
If you can. So we'd love that. Appreciate it. It helps us with the algorithm a little bit, I'm told, I think. And, it gives us some motivation.
Exactly.
Honestly.
Exactly. We actually had a really good review come through, but they only give us 4 stars. And I was like, huh.
Oh, to be fair,
okay.
I've said you don't have to give me 5 stars. Like I am actually fine with that.
And to be fair, I also said it's going to bump me if you give us something in between a 5 and a 1, because a 1, I can understand. Then you're just an asshole. A 5, that means you're satisfied. But anything between that means I'm just mediocre.
You're just like, hey, it's a 3. It's like, oh, all right, I'm a 3 then.
Really knows how to cut me to the quick, you know?
All right, guys.
Thank you once again for tuning in. Thank you for telling a friend about the show. It really is what keeps us going, and we do appreciate that very, very much. Next week, we're going to be working that out. I'm going to be out of town. Coy's not, and then there's going to be a reversal in the weeks coming up, so we're going to work out some really fun stuff for episodes for the next couple of weeks. Coy Forticus and Masterson, Junior Senior Esquire, Duke of Earl Grey. You can find him at The Horsepower Hour on Instagram and Facebook. You can, of course, find us at The Horsepower Hour. The group is just The Horsepower Hour Podcast, so come and join that. And for Coy, this is Andy Will. See you next time.